Welcome to another session in this Python series. We are looking at dictionary methods. In the last session, we looked at some of the methods such as keys method, values, and items. We will continue by looking at some other methods that are useful in Python dictionary. The first one we are looking in this session is the clear method. The clear method is used to remove all items from a dictionary. For example, this is my dictionary, my dict. Let's clear everything inside here. So if I say my dict dot clear, if I run this, if I come here again and I check, so you can see that it has become an empty dictionary. So we can use this to clear our dictionary if we do not want to have any content or any item inside it again. Now we are going to be looking at the copy method. The copy method is used to create another copy of a dictionary. So this is our dictionary here. Let's create another copy and we call it new dict. So say new dict is equals to dict dot copy. So if I look at new dict, so you can see that new dict is also the same thing as my dict. But there are some things I want us to take note of because they are very important. Let me remove or let me change the E here to 50. So let me say new dict into E equals 50. So if I call it my new dict now, you can see that E has become 50. Now, if I call my dict, just follow me, you can see that in my dict, E is still 55. But let's say I come here now and I change the content of this first key value pair. So what I'm changing is the element inside this list. So I'm changing, let's say, the second element of this list. So now I have, so I will go back and rerun the cell again. So I dict, and then we have new dict. So here I will use A. So which means that what I'm changing here is that I'm changing the value of A, but I'm changing the second value here. So I put this here and say I'm changing one. So now, if you have been following us in list and in our first topic or session on dictionary, you should know how this works. But let me go through it again. This A is saying that is taking this value, which is a dictionary, but which is a list rather, which is a list. But I'm trying to look at the second index of this list. So that is why I have index 1 here. Now, if I run this now, what we have is that this 3 will become 50. So instead of having 3 here, we are going to be having 50. So let's see. So you can see that now we have 50 instead of 3. So let's check my dict again and see if my dict is still the same. So at this point, you can see that my dict has also changed. In the first example, my dict did not change, but in this second example, my dict has changed because I changed the element of this particular list. And this is a phenomenon in list that when you copy a list and you change anything in the copy, it's going to also alter the original list. The way around this is to use what is called deep copy. But I will not be talking about all of this now. We are going to be talking about them in the future. But it is better to just change into a new variable name because using copy and deep copy, they have some issues associated with them, except you have become a pro and you have understood how all of these work perfectly. As a beginner, just create a new variable and do whatever you want to do with it. Good. But at this point, we have been able to establish that you can create a new copy of a dictionary. And if you see this in other people's code, you should be aware of such methods. Now let's look at another method called the get method. So it returns the value of the specified key. And so let's see the example here. This is my dict. So if I want to get the value of A, so I will just say my dict dot get, and then the value is B. So if I run this, you can see now that we have been able to extract the value of B. But if you remember, in the first session on dictionary, I actually did something like this, where I said we can actually say my dict into B, and if I do this, we are also going to get 2. So using this method is going to give us the same output. But there is a mild difference. For example, in this dictionary, my dict, there is no F as a key. So if I come here and I say F, so if I run it, you can see that we have an error. And the error is this, key error F, which means that Python does not see any key with that particular value. So it returns an error. But if I do that to this particular syntax where we are using the get method, so if I do this, you can see that this one does not see it, and at the same time it is silent, very silent. It is showing nothing. But this takes us to the next level. For the get method, I can specify that check, give me the value of this particular key. However, if you do not see this key there, give me this value. So I can say, give me, there is no F in the dictionary. So if I run this now, you can see that it is telling me that there is no F in the dictionary. So that key is not there. But if I do this here, it's going to show an error. So you can choose any one of them you want to use based on what you want to do. And each of them has their own implication. But you should make your choice based on what you want. Good. Then we are going to look at the pop method. The pop method works like this. It's like pop in list. So let's say my dict again. You can say this my dict. So if I want to remove A, I can just say my dict dot pop so B. So if you see this now, it has popped the A, and if I check my dict again, you can see that A is not the key value pair. A is not in my dictionary again. But if you remember about list, that whatever we pop, we can also assign it to a new variable. So I can say, okay, my dict and item equals, let's pop E now. E. So if I do this, then if I call an item again, you can see that we have 55. So this is how we can use the pop method in a dictionary. Now let's go to pop item. So pop item removes and returns the last inserted key value pair from a dictionary. The pop removes like the key, and then it returns its value. But the pop item will remove the key and the value, but returns both of them. So assuming I send my dict, so let's copy my dict from up again.
Repeat.
So copy the cell and come here. Run it again. So my dict.pop item. If I run this, you can see that it returns the pair, the key value pairs, the last one. That is, the last inserted value is going to be removed. So if I look again and say my dict, you can see that it has removed this particular value, the key value pair that was last inserted. But there is something about it in that, look at this particular dictionary, EXP. It has 12 key and 12 values. Assuming I want to remove the last 10 values, so I want to remove from 3 to 12. I only want 1 and 2 to be remain. How do I go about that? So pop item method is very useful at this point. So I can just use like for loop for I in range so of 10. So with this, I can just say my dict or exp dot. So now you can see that pop item is going to be run like 10 times, and let's see what exp becomes after. So let's call exp again. You can see now that it has removed the last 10 key value pairs of the dictionary. So, and that is how we can use the pop item method to remove some amounts of a key value pair in a sequential manner. Good. We are going to look at from keys value, from keys method. From keys method is a built-in method in Python dictionary, and it helps us to assign a single value to a set of keys from an iterable. Let me give an example. These are names. Assuming these are names of students, I want to give all of these students 50 marks, and we want it to be arranged in a dictionary. So how do we go about it? We have an option of saying call and then create a dictionary and start typing the name like this. So, and then put 50 and then do the same thing for everybody. But this is not going to be effective assuming we have 1,000 students, 10,000 students. Since we are assigning the same value and everything here is in a list, which is an iterable, then you can use the from keys method. So the from keys method will just be something like this. So we use dict to tell Python that we want to create a dictionary dot from keys, and then we put the iterable there. That is from this iterable that you should take your keys, and to those keys apply make 50 to be their values. So when you run this, you can see now that 50 has been assigned to each of these names. And that is how the from keys method works in Python. So if you have a scenario where you want to assign the same value to so many variables or so many values and you want to keep them in a dictionary, this is where you go. So this is going to be the end of this session. We are going to be meeting in the next one.